Hello friends, welcome back. In this tutorial we will learn how a programmer can define his own function. In this tutorial we will learn about function definitions. A function definition consists of two principal components. One is the first line of function definition and second is the body of the function. So first I will discuss about the first line of function definition. In general terms, the first line of the function definition is written as like this. Data type, name, and then bracket, right? So let us first discuss about this data type. What is this data type? This data type specifies the data type of the value returned by the function, and here name specifies the name of the function, and after the name within the bracket there are the arguments along with their data types separated by the comma. So in the bracket I have written here type 1. Type 1 specifies the data type of first argument, arg1 specifies the first argument, and so on. Suppose there are n arguments for this function, then type n specifies the type of nth argument and argn specifies the nth argument. Now these arguments are optional. If there is no requirement of these arguments, if the function definition does not have these arguments, then these brackets will be empty, right? Name of the function will be followed by empty parenthesis. So data type, as I have told you, data type specifies the data type of the value returned by the function. Now if the function does not return any value, then here in place of data type we will write the keyword void. Void specifies that this function will not return any value. Now this is how the first line of function definition is written. So these arg1, arg2, they specifies the argument. These arguments are also called formal arguments, they are also called formal parameters or simply parameters. Now the remaining portion of the function definition is called body of the function, right? So after first line of the function definition, rest of the portion is called function definition. So after first line of the function definition, what happens? There will be curly braces enclosing all the codes which will be executed when this function is called. So how this function returns value? So to return the value, this function use return statement, right? So the general form of the return statement is like this: return expression and then semicolon, right? This is the general form of return statement. So this is the general form of return statement. First you need to write return, and after space you need to write an expression and then semicolon. So this is the general form of return statement. So what this return statement does? Actually this return statement transfers the control of execution to the calling function, right? So when it returns the control of execution to the calling function, what it does, this can also return a value, right? So this returns the value what is specified by this expression. So whatever the value we get after evaluating this expression, or whatever the value is specified by this expression, that value is returned by this return statement, right? So this in return statement, this expression portion, this is optional, right? You can simply write it like this, return. So when you simply write it like this, return, then this return statement, this will not return any value, right? So here you can see that in this function definition, suppose this function returns some value. So whatever the value it returns, its data type must be mentioned here, right? So to return that value, this function will use this return statement in this form, return and then expression and then semicolon. So whatever the data type is there of the value of this expression, that data type must be same as the data type which is mentioned here. If it is not same, then compiler will try to convert the data type of this expression implicitly to the data type which is mentioned here. But if the compiler fails, then it will give an error. You will get an error. So for that purpose, you should be careful. You should whenever you define a function, you should be careful that whatever the value is returned by the function through return statement, data type of that value must match with the data type which is specified here in the first line of function definition, right? So what happens if there is a mismatch? First, the compiler tries to implicitly convert the data type of expression into this data type, but if it fails, then you will get an error. So as I told you that this expression is optional. Now if this expression is not present in this return statement, then the return statement will be written as like this, simply return and then semicolon. In this case, this return statement will simply causes the control to revert back to the calling portion of the program without transferring any information. So only one expression can be included in the return statement. Therefore, the function can return only one value to the calling portion of the program through return statement. Now in this tutorial, we have studied how we can define a function. Now let us see an example. Suppose I want to define a function which can add two integer numbers and return their sum. So how can I write this function? First, I will write the data type of return value. So this function which I am going to write, it will return integer type, int type. So first I specify int. Then name of the function, suppose the name of the function is sample, and after that there will be parenthesis. In this parenthesis I will write the arguments along with their data types separated by comma. So what I want this function will add two numbers and return the sum. So here in this case, the arguments will be two integer values, right? So I have specified here like this, integer a, integer b, right? So this is the first line of function definition. After that there will be the body of the function. Here I have declared another integer variable c, right? And c is equal to a plus b. See this statement. So here I have added the value of variables a and b, and whatever the value is there after addition, it will be assigned to variable c. And the last statement is return c, right? So this function will return the value of c, and what is the c? C is the sum of integer variables a and b, right? So here I have defined a function. In next tutorial we will learn how we can access a function, how this function can be used in a C program, right? How we can access this function, how we can use this function, that we will learn in another tutorial, next tutorial.